All right, hello everybody. It is Umber Rays here today to talk to you about a little bit of a mistake I made. But since this is kind of the first video of Spooky Month, I just opted to wear a mask. You're welcome. Now, actually, the reason I wore a mask is because I'm actually a little bit sick today, and as such, excuse me. That's one of the things we're going to be talking about is just the fact that I made a mistake yesterday. I recorded a video late into the evening talking about new Astrius, and while that was generally good to get views and whatnot, every once in a while we make a mistake, and I made a very obvious mistake that I just didn't think about at the time, which was that my dark team didn't have any vision cards, which all in all feels a little just a little bit unfair into determining whether a unit is good or not. Normally, if you're going to do this kind of stuff, you want to make sure that you're at least doing it on a fair and even basis. So keep everything fair and even. We're going to be trying to keep things fair and even. All right, just let me redo this. We need a little bit more bravery. But basically what I've concocted for today is kind of a retest. My new Astrius. By the way, what are we calling him? Are we calling him Astrius 2? Are we calling him Alt-Trius? I don't know, but I feel like a good name has to exist out there, and the community needs to. But considering that it's less than 24 hours, you got to admit the fact that we are sitting at a level 115 is probably good enough to get an idea of how good he is, or at least how good he scales. And today we just have a better setup. We have a little bit more flexibility as to how we are running his kit. There are TMR runes equipped to this, 3 HP and 1 attack so far, which is definitely me trying to make up for the fact that he's just not a 120 or a 140 yet. But you can see we have extra HP boost, we have resistances to make sure that he stays strong. And in as such, we do have a little bit more capability of just testing out certain things. Like for instance, seeing what the cost is of switching around one of his abilities. His Urel job abilities, while I'm not super crazy about most of them because he really just doesn't overall need those abilities, the support skill and the counter that he gets, basically physical evasion for a counter and move +1 and speed for a support, are definitely welcome features. And I'm having an honest time, like a real thought about whether or not I like the move and the speed. Since he is kind of a defensive character, it's not necessarily a bad thing to see this kind of stuff. But even if, like, apologies for the fact that, we don't have mastery of just all equipment on him, and bravery is not quite there yet. I've been coughing up lungs, and sneezing up lungs too, to some extent. All right, so taking a look, these are what his resistances look like, at least for mine so far. And continuing on the trend of a lot of modern characters just being weak to spears, really does kind of make me feel like we're going to see an incredible spear meta in the near future, maybe starting with Ramada, not too terribly sure. But you also have just shooting resistance, and those are this guy's big weaknesses. But to be fair, while those are present, I mean, you can kind of circumvent them a little bit by having a good tank. You can mix and match with elements, so there is, I think, some potential of just it not being too terribly much of a problem. I swear it's not me just overcompensating trying to make. So let's bring over a Sephiroth, and we're kind of going to retrofit this party to be a little bit different, but this should be a better overall indication. With just the missing VCs last night, it's definitely been bugging me all day that to make such a simple, obvious mistake. But just that it's really kind of incredibly unfair into evaluating a unit's performance. But I still think that the unit's going to be All right, so we're fully set up. We'll also show Elia and Lightning's stats for direct comparison to Astrius to get an idea for what they are like. All right, let's go. Net positives overall, though, feel generally pretty solid for new Astrius, as most websites, JP players are reporting that he is pretty darn good. Now, is he break the bank good? Probably not. He's not a triple S tier, at least as far as we can tell before the next E comes out. But that in itself just kind of states how I think it goes about with these units nowadays. Feels like they are a little bit more balanced, maybe even excuse me, too conservative. But getting an idea for magic damage there. Here, start procking abilities. We also want to check out Sephiroth's abilities as usual. And this is more what you would expect. It even felt a little bit like something was off last night, but again, too tired to really get there. So taking a look, these are more the damage types that we would expect from a modern and upgraded Sephiroth, who is still by most websites considered to be a triple. Just wanted to bring that up real quick. All right. So Astrius, now getting in to, we want that AP discount almost always. And essentially, we have an idea for his regen from yesterday, which I'm also pretty happy about. Because I do want to just see what this guy is capable of at all points in time. Moving over here. Throwing some abilities up. We're probably going to get attacked soon, but it doesn't matter. Now, one of the things that I don't think I mentioned, this guy obviously has pretty high durability with barriers and whatnot, but one of the new major things is that he does have the actual percentage down for AoE, which is really the new thing here. Left the dongle up, but I'm getting distracted. Pump up the lightning a little bit more. We'll throw enhancements towards our characters, seeing about 1,000 HP with the HP increases that we've gotten. And again, into 140 will increase that even further. Now we have that nice AP discount. We can see just with the extra resistances that vision actually properly equipping vision cards, this is more what you would expect. Now, I'm not overly concerned about tanks because just the poison status effect alone seems pretty reliably accessible for this character's kit, and that will eat away a lot at tanks HP and other characters' HP. Plus, you're getting the secondary hit, which is just generally pretty strong. Once we start getting rid of some barriers and whatnot, yeah, this feels maybe a little bit more on par. And once we get more DPS in the future, we will definitely running that. Now I think we will run the gel effect, also decreasing magical damage, and then we will get a better idea. And just for comparison, seeing what Bridal Elia is capable of course, Bridal Elia has very high offensive power still. One of the only things that Bridal Elia is particularly struggling with is getting through barriers, as barriers can reduce the considerable amount of damage that you're doing. But in comparison with Astrius and just the removal of AoE resistance from certain abilities, I think that it will be a just very powerful. Let's hit with the limit burst here, which is a little harsh, but no, we're just going to do it just because. And a comparison for what lightning is doing, you can kind of get an idea here after that major debuff for lightning resistance, and just taking a look at what other characters can do. We're seeing a good amount of still damage against him from other characters, so this is a little bit more what I think. But I think Astrius will also find just being a team player is in his interest. Great, so we have that. We do want to test mage abilities real quick. The scene here. And it's interesting because this does paint a somewhat similar picture, but as opposed to Squall, which I think has particularly more weakness, Astrius is just a generally weaker. And of course, once we unlock just more attack nodes, it's going to power up his firepower even is. So let's just chill for a minute. I think what we're going to do, get that, oh, sorry, missed the shell effect. There we have it. And you can see the amount of damage resistance we're getting off of. I mean, to me, I am curious about what the next VC will be, whether it is a very offensive VC or defensive VC, a 90 cost VC with an Esper, or what particularly they are going to give. Do have to give a little bit of healing here, so we will. So yeah, a very offensive dark team is still capable of doing very much, a fair amount of damage here, but with HP regeneration thing, I don't think it's super. One of the biggest things also that Astrius is looking to do is counter the soul problem that Lightning was winning, pure mono Lightning was winning battles against mono Earth, especially well-developed teams. So that tells you just how strong he. But Soul came along and kind of changed that and put Lightning into a position where it was a little worse. Right? Well, so that kind of wraps up most of what I want to say. Of course, I want to see percentages and numbers, and those aren't up yet. I want to see what the VC is going to look like that will be paired with him. I am curious as to like more arena testing and whatnot to see how good he potentially is. And thankfully for next week, I'll basically be ready to run this character at full steam in arena in a pure mono Lightning team. Really the last question I have, since I don't have Alphonse, is the inclusion of Charlotte with her new limit burst upgrades actually a worthy inclusion, or should we go fire and lightning potentially, mixing it a UR Mont? It's a curious case of stuff that I'm thinking about. But yeah, partially just using this video to talk about a mistake I made, a little bit more accurate depiction of his DPS and whatnot, and with, you know, testing out some different stuff, optimizing more, I expect him even better in the coming days. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to try not to die from feeling sick, and hopefully see you later. I guess very last mention at the end of this video is that streams may be disrupted this week because of me feeling like poop. Well, yeah. See ya.